The two core problems you kind of sent over to me when you sent an email were you're not 100% sure on the niche, but also you'd love to know what is it that you would actually offer to that audience. Have I kind of understood what it is that we're working on today?
I've been going through a few of your courses, the 100K funnels, all those. And like the very first one I watched was that I need to niche down, just suck it up, get over it, niche down. So I was sitting there and I'm thinking, and I have a niche that I really want to, or it's a broad niche that I really want to, which would be e-com businesses. But then there's also another niche that I already maybe have connections in that I think they have the money, but I don't necessarily know that I want to work with them. So I don't know if what you'd recommend I pick. And so that's the reason I reached out. And I feel like with anything I've ever done, anytime it comes to picking somebody and sticking with it, I always feel like if I pick wrong, it's the end of the world. And so that was my main reason for reaching out.
Do you actually like talking to e-commerce guys?
Of the ones I've talked to, yes, I do.
What about coaches?
The ones I've talked to have been very nice. It's different. The relationship when I talked to them, it was as if I was talking to like a mentor, or like if I was talking to my dad or something. I don't know.
Okay.
It's not the same though.
If I had to tell you, I need you to make 10 pieces of content video talking about essentially the same topic 10 times, which one immediately do you think, well, I'd rather talk to this person with the same 10 questions 10 times?
Definitely e-coms.
Okay, that's a really good start. And what about SaaS businesses?
I feel like it's kind of similar to e-com, but I don't really know a ton about the space.
That's fine. Ultimately, there's two questions we need to ask now is one, can they afford you? And two, can they afford to implement your advice?
So I was thinking this is where I kind of got stuck, and when I reached out to you, I think if I do, the bigger fish could definitely afford it.
What about coaches?
I don't really know. I don't know how much they should expect to spend when I'm in there already.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay, I'll put a midway line through that. What do you know about the SaaS market in terms of what they can and can't afford?
I know if you're really good, you got a lot of money.
Yep.
And they probably could afford it because it's a kind of a build and then sell it infinite amount of times.
Yeah, there's a lot of scale and profitability built into their model, right? And the final question I want to ask, any questions so far at all from yourself?
With the coaches thing, you might know. I know that when I thought of coaches, as I was going through the trainings and the courses, I was seeing that a lot of the stuff you sell or that you would offer to like funnel builders, it kind of reminded me, it was very similar to what I could offer coaches. So it felt easy. But when like as for the afford part,
Mm-hmm.
if I charge, 25 grand or whatever, like how much do they usually need to expect to spend once they've agreed?
In terms of getting them results, I'm not telling you to promise them the earth or promise them the world or saying that you're going to turn them into a 7 or 8 figure business overnight, but can you get results for e-commerce businesses?
I'm not entirely sure. And I say this because when I was trying to be in the space, I obviously don't have a super successful e-commerce business right now. As far as like going through and offering the stuff that I've seen you do and the stuff I see inside of like 100K funnels, I think I probably could. I'm in a few communities, and just from understanding like landing pages and
Mm-hmm.
why or how ads work, I think I could.
I'm actually going to prove to you that you can get them results. In fact, it'll take about 5 minutes, and I'll show you where you're missing something out. What about coaches?
Yeah, I think I probably could as
Yeah.
well.
And what about SaaS businesses?
Yeah, I feel like it can't be too different from the other two.
It depends which stage of the life cycle they're in. Long and short, you're right, but at some point they move away from acquisition and into churn, which is just a different problem to solve. But realistically, it's not the end of the world. It's not a massive difference. Does it make sense to you which niche seems pretty obvious?
Yeah.
So just to make sure we're on the same page, to me it seems like e-commerce would just be a win to go after. Does that sound like something we're both on agreement in?
Yeah, I am curious to hear your thoughts, like, because if I go after ecom,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to go after the like big fish, because these I don't want to sit here and grind for 16 hours a day to help somebody start an e-commerce brand and try to build it.
100%.
Do you think it's still worth going after them, even if it might take me a little bit longer to land that first client?
So, yes, and I'm hoping by the end of this call you'll think, oh, actually, here's something I could offer people. So, the first thing you kind of mentioned there was how you basically don't want to work with, that is 100% fine. I would even say it's suggested you don't want to work with people who are starting. You're not interested in going after people who are like, hey, how do I set up a Shopify account? There's a lot of competition out there. How are you going to get attention? You yourself were getting constant emails, and you were like, I'm not even one of the big guys, so the big guys must be getting way more emails like this. How are you actually going to deliver the work? Figuring out what the offer is to go to market and land your first client, your first 3 clients, your first 5 clients, whatever. And then what's the onboarding process to make sure that we're working with people, kind of reflecting this first point up here, that you're working with people who have got something to be able to do. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, perfect.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
So first thing I actually want us to figure out is, do you know how much you want to charge? Do you know how much your price point you want it to be?
Not really, no. I obviously like charging 25,000 would be great, but I don't really know what I would offer. I want to make sure that I have the stuff to back it up. I want to make sure I can get them results that are worth more than 25 grand. I don't want to be the scammy kid that wants to start a business and is just scamming everybody.
So if we say the price point is 25,000, now I'm going to throw another option in here that could potentially help you work on the other side, the bit that you find more exciting. And I'm going to put a lower ticket number here at 197 a month. All right. We'll work with 25 grand for the start, and then we can always work backwards. So this next question up here, maybe it's something you've seen on another kind of one of my exercises. In order for you to think this would be a crazy easy, no-brainer project for me to take on, what would they need to have? What would you need to see the business to look like?
They would definitely need to have a big email list.
How big does the email list need to be in order for you to go, shit, I can find 50 grand in there?
The number that comes to mind is like 10,000.
Potentially a business with an email list of tens of thousands of people. They're spending money on ads. They've got a high average order value. You know, they have the technical term I know it is called is a high consumption product. You might know it as someone else who's been in this space. They've got a team. They're willing to learn. They're willing to test. They're willing to change, raise their prices. They're coachable. And you consider them a good person, an ethical person. If you looked at this type of business, would you think, yeah, I 100% want to take this further. I think we could do something together.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if I didn't know exactly what to do, these look like people I would love to help, and I would go out of my way to make something happen.
Awesome. Hypothetically, you need to get them, let's set the bar quite high, $50,000 worth of results. I'll give you 90 days. They haven't paid you the full 25 grand, but we want to basically get them a 2-to-1 quickly. What are the first 3 things that you would do for this business here in the top right in order to get them $50,000 worth of results? And this might not be something you know immediately, but let's talk it through.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is just hitting all of their previous customers and asking them to buy again.
Hypothetically, how are you doing that, and how quickly would it take for you to do that?
If they had all of that information in there, like their phone number, I would probably do all of like just email, text, and call them if their phone number's there. I feel like you can't go wrong.
Do you know how few large e-commerce businesses rely at all on email and text? Do you know how bad that part of their business plan is? Because it's atrocious.
As far as like reaching out to people or their customers via email and text, is that what you're saying?
Via their email and text at all, yet alone segmenting the top 20% of their customers and sending that 20% a specialist offer via email and text. They just don't do it. They are completely blind to it because they think that the problem is either ad leads at the top or their checkout process. It's insane, the opportunities there. So I think that's a really good first step. What would be the second step you'd do?
Maybe the same thing, but to people that maybe abandoned their cart and didn't end up purchasing, that were so close and never went through.
Yeah, near misses. I've got to ask you for the first one. We'll do it for the second one as well. How quickly do you think you could set up number one?
I think easily within the first week or two. I don't think it would take that long at all.
Yeah, I agree. What about number three?
Let's say it's a product that you would buy monthly. If they missed last month, but they bought they bought every month until then, would that be the same thing as like near misses or?
Nope. So that would be you're re-upping your churned customers or subscribers. 100%. Have I understood that correctly? They say, hey, you missed your payment, and then you just never reach out to them again. But the number of people who are like, no, I still want the service. My card number was wrong, or I physically didn't have that amount of money in the account at the time, but it bounced or whatever. That's what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. How quickly do you think it would take to set that up and automate it in future?
I feel like it would just take a week. Like I can't see it taking that. Now, if I did all of them, maybe a couple weeks to do all of them.
The mistake that people make is they think that there is a series of magic funnels and campaigns that take weeks and months to set up that will catapult a business to the next level. In my experience, most businesses get the biggest results within the first 45 days of working with a marketer because they target the stuff that works, and then they move on to the things that really push the needle in the first place. When we look at these first three things, there is categorically space for us to find $50,000 worth of sales within those three things there, 100%. So the last question there. So first of all, how do you feel about this as some kind of onboarding process? And you think, well, I even know what I'm going to do. And we'll give you space and we'll say that it will take you 90 days to do this. How do you feel about that in terms of the first 3 months?
It feels great. Even if I did nothing else, I feel like that alone is a great start. If I can make them double what they paid me in 3 months and we decide to work together for a year, I'm not worried at all.
Yeah, exactly. Right. The mistake we make is when we want to go after bigger businesses who seem to have their shit together, is thinking, yeah, but they're probably doing all this stuff already. They're probably nailing it. How could they not be? They're already at this position. So the next question, the thing that actually matters is, now, do you know who your market is and do you know what your offer is? This is the part people go, oh, actually, I need a bit more clarity usually. So tell me, who is your market? Who are you going after?
So I'm just thinking it would be the people up top that we just listed.
You mentioned earlier that was critical and it was a high consumption product. You'll need to find what the industry term is for that. Maybe it's called a high consumption product. Maybe it's not. I want you to think about who you go after. I say I work with marketers who basically want to turn over $20,000 a month recurring revenue without working themselves to the bone, without taking on any new clients. It's a very specific type of market. When we say I work with e-commerce, okay, great. When we say I work with e-commerce brands who have a high consumption product, that completely changes how people are going to respond to you. Mm-hmm. When you got lots of emails through from people saying, hey, I can work with you, we can do it, why didn't you work with them?
Well, to be honest, I was using every last penny that I had on like ads and stuff. So I didn't really have money to spend, but also it was very like every single email is like, hey, we help e-com brands that want to make more money or that want to sell more products or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, you're one of the 100,000 people that have emailed me in the past 3 days.
And it's basically, it comes down to relevance. It just didn't feel relevant enough to you. When you say to businesses, I work specifically with e-commerce brands who have a high consumption product, who are basically looking to turn over an extra $50,000 in the next 90 days without spending in more money on ads. Your method there doesn't say anything about ads. They don't have to create any new content. They don't even have to do any viral content or organic content. That completely changes the market that you go after, completely changes the specificity. The number one thing I am pitched constantly is editing and thumbnails, because they go, hey, we can increase your subscribers on YouTube. Subscribers are a meaningless metric. It's literally a completely meaningless number. It's super cool when you get eventually like the plaque, which like we're halfway to our first one, which is kind of cool, but it actually doesn't affect the business. If someone said, we'll help you come up with the video ideas that will generate 10 leads for every 100 views, I'd be like, take my money immediately. What you want to do is either bring them to an email list or a group, not necessarily both, but ideally both. But remember, you just need to land like a handful of clients for you to start seeing this money like genuinely make a difference in your own life. You're not after the big volume just yet. I would suggest thinking about, okay, what does a $97 or $197 a month SaaS subscription to High Level look like to sell to them and to give them this information and to do group coaching calls through the same processes, something to think about. But in terms of the types of clients that you could work with, specifically going after a niche where you say, do you work with all e-commerce businesses? And you say, no. That's a really important distinction. And that's what I would make sure you would do. So the first thing I want you to do is to do your research. The second thing I'm wanting you to do is to try and pull together some kind of community. And again, it doesn't have to be particularly complex. It doesn't have to be massive. And the third thing I want you to do is just do some content. And it could just be one Loom video talking through that process that you share with people. And that has a really strong call to action, which, by the way, can go on your landing page. Your headline can say a very, very simple, exactly the same offer that we've talked about here. People would be able to book a call with you. It's not your experience. It's not the portfolio. It's not how much you spend on ads. It's nothing like that is what lands you your clients. It's how specific is the language that you're using. When people hear, I will help e-commerce businesses with this specific type of product, high consumption product, whatever it is, land $50,000 worth of clients without having to spend any more money on ads or relying on SEO or slow burn viral content. Here's how I would do it. If you'd like me to show it and see if we can do it for your business, let's book a call. Hyper simple. Does that make sense? Do you think you've got a bit of a game plan for this going forward?
I do, yeah. If you don't mind, I do have a question about your about this your schedule, I guess. Maybe it doesn't have to be you personally, but maybe from when you started. In this situation or this circumstance, we're talking about getting 50K in 90 days. So would I just be working with them for the 90 days? Or like, because I know you talk about like 25 grand, you work with them for a year. But then my question, I guess, leading off of that would be, if I get them these results in 90 days, what do I do for the rest of the year?
So what you will learn is in the first 45 days of doing it, you'll be like, oh my God, these businesses have got so many problems. Everything from their email list hygiene to how they handle follow-ups and how they restock things. There will be dumb things like code. There will be no end of problems inside, like things that you can fix. But also remember, if you've done 3 things to help them generate, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 worth of sales, they might well just say to you, okay, just do that. Just do that once a month. The first big sort of like big contracts that we won where we were charging 2K a month, all we were doing is putting opt-in forms at the bottom of blog posts and making sure that the leads got passed over to the sales team. That's all we did for a couple of years. We literally just passed them over. And it was very, very simple work. It was very dull work. Eventually I managed to get a team just to do it for us, but that's what they wanted. That's what the insurance guys wanted. They just wanted the leads coming in. They just wanted the qualified leads, and they wanted them to churn over and have a conversation with them. That's all they wanted. When I would see like, oh, we could fix your webpage and we could fix your socials and stuff, I would try and go after it. And then I quickly realized that actually none of that stuff really matters to them. They don't really care about that. Occasionally I'd be like, hey, we should do a webinar, push it out. And they'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a good campaign. But realistically, when we found something that was working for them, we would just do that over and over and over. Don't feel that you're going to be measured on the variety of the creativity that you're bringing to the table. As there's nothing to say that you can't do that, but the reality is most people are going to be like, I just want you to do this now. Now that I've seen that this works, let's just keep doing this. That makes sense
to me. Yeah.
All right. How you feeling about that then? What was most valuable for you on this call then?
Definitely just, I think hearing you, it's like you said, like I listed everything. I pretty much did the work, but hearing you say it and clear everything up was amazing.
Excellent. Well, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. And I massively appreciate you being like, vulnerable with the group, vulnerable with everyone here. It really means a lot to me. So, yeah, I'm excited to see where you go with this next. And I'm looking forward to catch up with you.
Yes, sir. We'll stay in touch.